Hey guys, Greg here. It's the Vinyl Rundown. This is the Christmas Haul of Vinyl LPs edition. Every year I do a video like this because in my family, giving each other vinyl records is one of the main presents that we give each other. Oh, by the way, what's on my turntable now? Literally what I was listening to yesterday. Jazz from the Pacific Northwest, the Shelly Man and His Men group. This was given to me by Zev Feldman. It came out on Record Store Day, and I have to be honest, I didn't listen to it that carefully prior to Record Store Day. Yesterday I listened to sides 3 and 4, which I really loved. Sides 3 and 4 were recorded in, this is two different dates in the Pacific Northwest. Sides 3 and 4 are September 66 at the Penthouse in Seattle. But sides A and B are at the Monterey Jazz Festival, which I played in, sort of. Someday I'll tell you that story. But enjoyed this record more than I thought I would. Enjoyed it. Sounds great. Good playing. There's a beautiful booklet, which I won't get into. But I love that little Monterey Jazz Festival poster. Monterey Jazz Festival is known for putting out an original poster every year. I wish I had all of them, or some of them. Okay, that's a pre-Christmas record. Record Store Day. Black Friday marks the beginning of the holiday season. Is it Christmas? Is it holiday? Whatever you want to call it. My wife asked for a copy of Concrete Blonde, which I ordered from her online. It's a not easy record to find. And she already put it away in the pile. I'm not going to go grab it, but at the same time, there was a 25% off sale if you bought more than one thing. So I ordered this for myself. Don't tell her. I ordered Miles and Coltrane live in Europe, Copenhagen, 1960. There aren't that many records of Miles and Coltrane other than Kind of Blue. So this is one of them. And actually there's a whole new series that just came out. Miles in Paris, I think. Miles, Coltrane, Wynton Kelly, not Bill Evans, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb. Anyway, nice record on CBS, Columbia, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to blaze through these quickly, guys, because there's a ton of stuff here. I asked for this and got it for my lovely wife. Carlos Santana and Alice Coltrane. Santana is a huge Coltrane fan. When I saw Santana at the Clapton Guitar Fest a couple years ago, he brought out John McLaughlin and they played A Love Supreme. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. So Carlos, David Carlos Santana, very into Eastern spirituality, as you know. And this is kind of a weird, trippy record. Let's see, it's not a gatefold, so I don't have much to show you. But it's got the trippy, spiritual artwork. And there's him and Alice. And it's called Illuminations. He's got good players on here. It's a weird record. Part of it's trippy, part of it's meditative, part of it's crazy. Let's see, when I went to buy my wife some of these records, I found this in the cheap bin. It's kind of beat up copy, Les McCann. And as inexpensive as it was and beat up as it was, the packaging is cool because not only is it a gatefold, it's also got a booklet inside, which is pretty rare for just a regular release. You know, this is not a compilation or a greatest hits. It's just a release of a record. And what can I tell you about it? Les McCann on piano, Victor Gaskin on bass, Paul Humphrey on drums. So this is a jazz trio. And the record's kind of beat up when you pay 25 cents. And then I came home and I listened to it on streaming while looking at the cover. I do that sometimes. Okay, at that same sale, they had a sidewalk sale at this record store. I got this for 25 cents. You guys have never heard of this. Idil Buret doing Pierre Boulez and Anton Webern modern 20th century piano pieces. Weird avant-garde classical. Finaday? Yeah, Finadar. You can't even read the writing. It's upside down. It had some junk on it that I cleaned off. That's why it was in the 25-cent bin, because it had some paper stuck to it. Cleaned right off, you know. Take the time to clean your records, guys. Can increase their value sometimes. For my beautiful wife, this is a record store release. The -5 Down with Wilco. If you watch my channel, you know my wife is the world's biggest Wilco fan. This is a group of guys playing with Wilco. This was Record Store Day, recorded 2001, but it was out this last Record Store Day. Some of the guys from Wilco, Jeff Tweedy, Glenn, the drummer, and some other dudes. So it very much sounds like an early Wilco record. And I haven't listened to it carefully yet. Nice spine, nice big juicy spine. What does that mean, Greg? It's just easy to read. Big letters, you can read it. And then there's another Wilco record that I ordered for my beautiful, beautiful wife. It feels like a gatefold, but it's not. It doesn't open, which I don't get it. It's two things glued together. Why would they do that? Hot Sun Cool Shroud. Oh, it's listed as an EP. Oh, no wonder it was less than $30. EP? Yeah, not a lot of grooves there. How about a moldy strawberry? Haven't listened to this yet. I don't think my wife has either. But beautiful artwork. Really weird texture. Can you guys feel that? I don't know if you can feel it at home. Put your hands on the TV. When Mazzy was here, was that November? I got this for my son at Record Safari. Frank Zappa, Tinseltown Rebellion, because we got a good price on it. Let's see, this is a 2-record set. Anybody cool on here? Steve Vai, you know, all the Zappa players. Steve Vai, Patrick O'Hearn, Vinnie Colaiuta, Bamboozled by Love. I think this is one where he does a lot of singing, which he does sometimes. It's a gatefold. I'm not going to open it for you. That's in my son's pile. How many of you have 2 different copies of Tijuana Taxi from 2 different fast food places? Okay, this one makes sense at least. It's the Taco Bell edition of Tijuana Taxi. Do you guys remember when every Taco Bell in America was in these little brick buildings? And then they sold all the brick buildings to other Mexican restaurants. So we have one of those down the street here. It used to be a Taco Bell when I was in high school. Now it's some other taco restaurant. But they got a lot of the Herb Alpert tunes on here. Tijuana Taxi, Lonely Bull, Spanish Flea. Taco Bell, Palos Verdes Estates, California. Custom pressed for Taco Bell by Mark 56 Records. It's the Taco Bell Tijuana Taxi. But right behind it, gifted by the same lovely young lady, is the Der Wiener Schnitzel Tijuana Taxi. Now that doesn't make as much sense because Der Wiener Schnitzel is German. Taco Bell is supposedly Mexican, pseudo-Mexican. But here it is. How many of you have the entire Taco Bell set of fast food records? Not too many of you, I bet. Okay, hold on, there's more. Another one from my son's collection. My son is one of the world's biggest Devo fans. He and I have seen Devo together twice. This is a really cool 3-disc set. It's called Art Devo, 1973 to 1977. Obscure mind blowers from the vaults of the De-Evolution Band. It's a 3-record set, but all 3 records are crammed into one sleeve. And they have sort of handwritten. A lot of the artwork from Devo is by Mark Mothersbaugh himself. He's published art books and does all kinds of art stuff, designs his own sunglasses. There's a poster that I'm not going to take out. I want to respect the integrity of this and not get it all beat up. But this is stuff, if you've seen the Devo hardcore stuff, this is before that. This is like cassettes and just weird stuff that they recorded. Boogie's Industrial Death, Space Girl Blues, Androgyny, Hugh Boone Stomp. We've adopted that word Hugh Boone in our household. Anytime somebody does something stupid, they're a Hugh Boone. A Hugh Boone is a half baboon, half human. And a lot of you watchers out there probably are Hugh Boones in your own right, but love the cover. Just simple. Devo, De-Evolution. De-Evolution is real. You guys know that. Okay, some of my stuff finally. You guys probably never heard of this jazz record. You probably heard of Wayne Horvitz, who plays keyboards with people like John Zorn and Bobby Privet or Privet. I have some of his LPs. I think he's a percussion guy. No, he's a piano guy. But the reason I was attracted to this record and asked for it from Santa was it contains Butch Morris. Butch Morris, I've done 2 videos on my channel. Butch Morris invented this musical thing called conduction, where he conducts and improvises at the same times. So I interviewed the documentary maker on the Butch Morris story, which is called Black February. So Butch Morris, he played cornet on this, and he was a cornet player in different jazz groups before he did his own conducting thing. So this is on Sound Aspects, a now defunct German label from 1987. This is recorded direct to 2-track, no overdubbing, no editing, and it's got a very live, dynamic feel to it. It's very percussion-y, it's got a lot of keyboards on it. Rare record, imported from Germany, I guess. Sound Aspects. You guys know this label, Sound Aspects? Any other records on Sound Aspects that you know or recommend? I'm saving the best for last, so just hold on. We're getting to the big stuff. I got this new copy from Santa. Pharoh Sanders, Karma, one of his most famous spiritual jazz records, recently released on Impulse, and I think it's, is it a craft or something fancy? I think I've almost completed my collection of Pharoh Sanders early 60s stuff on Impulse. I got 3 or 4 of them. Black Unity, and I can't remember the other ones, but if you're into Pharoh Sanders, this is considered a classic and a must-have, and this is a beautiful brand new copy on Verve Impulse. Okay, hold on. Here is a cool record that most of you don't know about. Charles Mingus, before he did and Better Get Into Your Soul, so this is earlier. High Fidelity Recording, New York City, October 1957. A modern jazz symposium of music and poetry with Charles Mingus. This record gets re-released once in a while. This is a brand new copy. This is a 2-record set, and it mixes jazz and poetry. The whole 50s beatnik thing with somebody's doing poetry and somebody's playing jazz in the background. I dig that, and that's, some of this has poetry, some of it is just playing flat out. A modern, let's see, what does it say in here? Kevin Gray, Deluxe Gatefold Edition from Bethlehem. Yeah, that was the old label that Mingus did a lot of stuff on. It has some classic Mingus tunes on it, New Rog, New York Sketchbook, but it has some original tunes on it also, and it's got tunes with the poetry reading, which I think is pretty cool. Nat Heddentoff Jazz Review did the liner notes. Glad to have this for Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. We call it Christmas at my house. The Big Finish. My son got me an amazing record that's been on my want list for years. Warning, it comes with a warning. This is one of the weirdest records I own, one of the weirdest records ever made. This is the original electronic synth soundtrack, oh shit, from the movie Andromeda Strain, 1971. Michael Crichton of Jurassic Park. This was his first big movie. This was a sci-fi movie from the early 70s. It was my favorite movie when I was a kid. Kind of like Space Odyssey. The visual imagery of what the future is going to look like was just mind-blowing at the time. And the sound, the music that went with it, all on synth, was pretty groundbreaking at the time. So Gil Mel, you know, is a jazz sax player and composer. He's got half a dozen records on Blue Note. He's a respected jazz composer, but he also did this really trippy soundtrack for Andromeda Strain. This is not a 12-inch record. There's no record in here. You can't get in. The record is in here. It's hard to do without messing it up, and that's why this thing's a little bent up. But this represents the iris of a old film camera, and you open all 6 of these. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. You open all 6 of these shutter bits. It's impossible to do. You should do it laying down. Whoa! You open all 6 of these, and each one has a little pocket of information, a little picture on it. And inside is the weirdest record you've ever seen. It's a hex. It's 12 inches. No, yeah, it's 12 inches from side to side. But is it only maybe 10 inches from... Call it 12 from corner to corner and 10 and a half side to side. It's a weird die-cut record. And how many hexagon records do you have? It's easy to get these things beat up because it's very hard to handle. I found a inner sleeve that sort of works for it. It's rare to find this in mint condition because opening these shutter things, there's a lot of room for error. I'm bending it, and it's got schmutz on it. So, can you see this? Oh! Really cool soundtrack, really cool movie, really cool graphics, really cool. There were early computer graphics in this movie that were really mind-blowing at the time. People had not seen stuff like this. Andromeda Strain. Go see the movie if you haven't seen it in a while. So thanks to my wonderful son for getting me such a cool record. Andromeda Strain electronic soundtrack. Keep this thing pristine. Andromeda Strain. Oh, what about one more? Did you guys see this? Did you guys get one of these? Did you guys get your copy of the book that nobody wanted, the Mission Vinyl Impossible? Yeah, this is possibly the worst book ever about vinyl, and I recommend you guys not getting a copy. But if you do, where's the table of contents there? Yeah, if you do, you go to a website called Book by Anyone and check it out, and then you'll realize that this is ridiculous. Book by Anyone. And we've got positive reviews from Spin Cycle Weekly, The Groovy Gazette, Analog Adventures Monthly, Retro Resource Review, Vinyl Impossible, Hilarious Misadventures of a Record Collector's Quest for the World's Most Expensive Record Collection with the Worst Picture of Me You've Ever Seen. Guys, that is the holiday edition of the Vinyl Rundown, and ask for it by name. Thanks for watching.